Hello everyone. As you can tell, this is not me carving the rest of that Cooper Pedy. So the issue I have with this is that I am really torn on how I'm actually going to go ahead with this. On one hand, I want to keep as much of it as possible and make a nice kind of natural shape to get wire wrapping. I've got an interesting design that I want to try. But on the other hand, I also want to just sacrifice a bit of weight and turn it into a teardrop. I love that shape. It's just so good. Great on pendants. This one in particular would be great in a ring. So I'm still undecided, but I've really got to pull the trigger at some point. Yeah. So that's what's happening with that. But in the meantime, I just thought I'd bring you a review of a parcel that I've recently picked up. I've actually picked this up quite a while ago and just never shot a video of it. I've only ever bought fossils from Jenny and Shane, but this is the first time Julian Stavrius has had any kind of shells, so I thought I'd give it a crack and see what I could get. And this is not too bad. So each of these are about, well, typically you'd end up spending about $20 per shell. They're not fully intact or anything, and these 5 lower ones, they are a kind of just a common opal, not really a precious opal, no colour, nothing like that. And then I got one piece bonus that has a bit of colour in it. So I thought we'd just have a quick run through. Small crystal kind of mussel. We've got fairly nice piece here. It actually does have a bit of colour, the crystal, so it's got that blue purple, pretty common colour you see in crystal, nothing overly fancy, but for something that was advertised as having no colour at all, that's already a nice little win. It's not the biggest, most intact piece, but it's got a nice shape to it. I love shells and fossils. It's probably my favourite, even maybe above the boulder opal. And I do love boulder, so we'll sit him there. This one's nice. Butt end. Not very hollowed out. I love the shape of the of this end of the shell. Here's another one here. This one's a bit more crystally, and is it just me or is there colour coming through? I'm getting a green flash here and a blue flash over there, so I don't know what Julian's done here. He's actually given me a couple bits with a tiny speck of colour. So that's got green deeper in it as well. This might have something actually. That's an exciting piece now. I got it just because of the shape. Both of these are fairly nice shaped. I thought I could tidy them up just a little bit, clean them up, keep them intact. But this one now has a bit of colour. That one might actually need a proper polishing. Wow. I'll count that as a win. This one I just liked because of how, well, I don't have one that's got this exact part of a shell. So it's got a fairly nice intact end and a lot of length. It's got a few cracks and holes in it, but really, for $20 you can't really expect prime levels of fossil. If you've seen that stamp set, the one I reviewed earlier, if you get a full intact fossil you're looking at thousands of dollars, not tens of dollars. This one I picked up because I'm not entirely sure about what it is. So we've clearly got a shell over here. It's fairly intact. I'm hoping the other side's not very broken up. But then we've got this massive piece of opal on the side here, which could be a second shell. I'm wondering whether this division goes all the way through, and if it does, what I want to try to do with this one, something I haven't tried before, is to separate between 2 bits. Because there it looks like it might link up, but I'm hoping that's separate. So we're going to do a real careful excavation of that, and we're going to see if we can get them apart. So I thought that would be a cool idea for a video. And then this one just has a nice little bit of colour in it. So if I can get it to focus in, that's better. So you can see here the green's already started from this little low point here, and it doesn't come through really well, but it does have green and red smattering in here. It seems like the green's coming through okay on camera, but the red isn't really showing up. Not showing up to play, and yeah, it's basically just got a nice bit of colour across the whole thing. And it's also pretty nicely shaped. So I'm not going to do a lot with these shells. Going to clear out this, see how good that colour is underneath it. But all in all, tidy them up, keep all their distinct shell-like features, and maybe give it a bit of a polish. So yeah, and this parcel all in all was about $200. For 5 bits of shell that weren't meant to have any colour in them, even though a couple of them do, and for one that does have a bit of colour. Julian did have a couple much nicer pieces, and he wasn't actually asking that much for them. It was about $200 a piece, but I just wanted to get your classic beginner's parcel kind of thing and show you what you can get without forking out a lot of money. So $200 and you can get yourself some nice shell specimens. They don't need a lot of work, unless you really want to cut something out of them, but then it defeats the purpose of buying a shell, so try to keep them shell-like if you can, if it's worth it. But yeah, I thought I'd bring you a quick video while I'm still working on this Cooper Pedy. I'm hoping that my brain clicks and I decide and pull the trigger on one method or another. Most likely I'll go with the wire wrapping, because there is a design that I want to try. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. I'll give you a quick sneak peek of what's sitting around here. I'm surrounded by a couple little bags and some big bags of black opal. And that is to do with the beginner's parcels that I've been talking about for so long and just can't get around to doing. I am actually doing them. So stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel if you want to manage it to snag a bag. I'm going to keep them really low budget, but give you a lot of material to work with. So yeah, great for the beginners. And that's who I really want to help out. So stay tuned and I'll catch you in the next one.